Hello again and welcome to Sullivan's Farm. We're into the next winter feeding routine here with the Weanlings out on the fodder rape. They're getting a bale of silage, or they're getting through a bale of silage. You can see them, they're lined up there for them. It's taking them about between 2 and 3 days at the moment to eat the silage, and they're getting a kilo of cubes as well. The fodder rape can be mucky when you're grazing it outside like this, but the field is dry in general, and the last couple of days we haven't had much rain, so it's kind of helped as well. And overall, I guess even if it was muckier like it was out in the near knock a couple of years ago when we put heifers out there for the winter, it's still worth it. The cover crop, or you know, there's a few different variants of it, does a great job on the soil structure. It helps with drainage, it helps with biology in the soil, all that good stuff. And it's kind of part of a 2, maybe 3 year reseeding plan here as well, where we took a couple of cuts of silage off the field to get rid of some of the weeds, and then we sprayed it to get rid of more of the weed seeds and the weeds that were coming back again. The cover crop obviously will help the structure. Grazing it in situ means the cattle are recycling some of the nutrients as well. And then maybe next April or whenever the weather dries out, we'll spray it again and then go in with perennial ryegrass and clover mixture. Probably an extra bit of clover. I suppose that's the fashionable thing to do, and I've been over sowing clover with the last couple of years anyway. So that's the more longer term impact I'm hoping out wintering the cattle will have. The more immediate impact then will be on the animals themselves, who will hit the ground running, all going well, when they grow back out to grass properly next March. They've kind of developed something of a woolly overcoat there to help them with being out wintered. And I think the thinking or the theory behind them doing better outside then than in a shed is that when they do go out in April, in March, or maybe even the end of February, all going well, they don't get any knockback because they're able for it. Rather than, say, if they were inside in a shed for the last 4 or 5 months and then they go out and they get a bit of cold weather, they're not able to handle it. So that's the theory of out wintering the cattle, and them doing better outside than they would normally maybe in a shed. What I should have said at the start of the video, of course, was thanks to everybody who had a comment or an idea or got in touch after the last video I put up about thinking about milking. I've spoken to a few people in the last few days. I've looked at all the comments people put in below. I've an idea of things now that I didn't have before I put the video up. So thanks a million for that. I read every single comment. I try to like them all or reply if I've anything to say. And I really appreciate it. So thanks very much. The loose plan that I have in place now, I suppose it matters because this is why having the Weanlings hitting the ground running makes a big difference. I'm going to try and put a few of those yearling Weanlings in calf next May, and we'll kind of go from there. I think I mentioned before I'll probably pick out 10 of them, maybe the couple of cemental heifers, Belgian blue heifers. There's a speckled park one there, and really I know they're not proper suckler stock, and people will tell me, well, they're not proper suckler stock, but it'll be a start for me. It'll be me getting animals, heifers in calf. It'll be calfing them down. It'll be a little bit more experience than I have now, which wouldn't be hard. And then we'll go from there. And I suppose the second thing that'll do is really build up a couple of quid inside the farm gate. It'll hold money together. So if I was to go milking cows in a couple of years' time, which is the reality of it, it won't be this year or next year or the year after, then I'd have maybe a couple of suckler cows to sell, as well as the Weanlings there as well. That's the loose plan. But again, any more ideas on that'd be great. Just a quick special thanks then to a man who I had a great chat with about pedigree Angus cattle. Well, we talked about that eventually. We talked about other stuff first. And just out of interest, I'm thinking of buying a few pedigree Angus heifers, maybe off him. But I've also kind of got an interest in whiteheads or Herefords, as they're officially called. And I'd like to maybe buy a few pedigree Herefords as well. So if anybody had any thoughts on either of those two breeds, again, comment below, and I'm all ears. So that's the smallest 4 then. I'll finish giving them a bit of straw in a minute. But they're getting what they need too. They're getting 1.5 kilos of cubes a day, which is a bit more than the ones outside. The plan is that they'll go out by day and in by night, maybe on a gradual basis around the last week of February as well, all going well. They won't hit the ground running as well as the bigger ones, but they'll do as well as they can, given the fact that the genetics mightn't be great in them, or they might have got a knock soon after they were born. They might have got a knock here when I was feeding them in the shed and I didn't pick it up fast enough, or just one of those things. But again, I think the key thing is that they're getting what they need. And I'm happy with them, given what happened last year when I lost 2 around this time of year. So, yeah, I suppose that's the lesson there. Again, give the animal what it needs and get out of its way, or give the group of the animals what they need, get out of their way, and they will do the majority of the work themselves then. We'll move down then from one pen to the next pen. It'll be nice when we have 3 pens in there, 2 quarters and 1 half, but at the moment we have 2 halves. On to the bigger cattle, the next ones that are going to the factory stroke mart. I think I need to check with the mart when is the last mart before Christmas, but the idea is that they will go about a fortnight, maybe 3 weeks time. So they're picking away at the silage there as well, and they need more straw too. But again, we'll do that in a minute. God forbid we do the work that's needed rather than the farm walk videos. They're up to between 3 and 4 kgs a day now. What I need to do is bring over the little weighing scales that herself has in the kitchen to double check the weights of what they're eating, because they're getting a mix of rolled barley and a beef finisher nut, and a jug full of rolled barley is the same volume as a jug full of the cubes or the nuts, but obviously it doesn't weigh as much, so I just need to double check that. But really the lesson for me is that they need something between 4 and 6 weeks before they go to the mart or to the factory. It really puts a nice bit of extra flesh on them that they wouldn't otherwise have. The first 6 I sent off, they were all O equals, in or around, I think, O equals. There might have been 1 O plus and 1 O minus, the 6 of them that went, and they were all 2 plus for fat score. Now, it didn't really matter a huge amount when they went, but I can certainly see that the couple of extra weeks of feeding with those ones has really kind of added a nice warm kind of a finish to them. So I guess that's the lesson there. I wasn't going to bother showing you that because I'm not one of those fellas who kind of boast. Well, I don't boast about anything, and especially not about silage. But the one thing, they have pretty much licked the ground here with a bale that they got there yesterday evening. I didn't check the DMD or the dry matter or any of that kind of stuff with the bales, mostly because I would be afraid, unless you could kind of sample every single bale in the place, you might get a false reading. You know, you might test a good one or you might test a bad one, and then you're actually worse off rather than just kind of going at it randomly. But these ones seem to be really horsing into the silage. Like I've never seen bales like it. And the only difference this year is the fact that they were cut maybe a fortnight or 3 weeks earlier than usual. So might give an update on that if there's nothing worth saying in the next couple of weeks. But so far, so good anyway. The daily intake is higher. Is that the kind of scientific way of saying it? And I guess cutting the silage that bit earlier seems to have made a difference. Quick video, a few quick lessons, a few words of thanks to a few people, and we'll get on with it. The weather's been fairly okay, thankfully. The dry weather makes all the difference, and seeing a bit of blue sky makes all the difference to everybody's well-being as well. So thanks for watching, thanks for liking and subscribing and viewing and all that kind of thing, and especially thanks for the comments. And we'll talk to you soon. Good luck.